told me that once. Brian Duffy, it was somebody that...
Yeah,
John Evans, I can't remember. It was somebody...
Yeah, sure.
That
Being a
said,
sportscaster.
Listen, I don't have to
best
deal...
gig.
Right, I don't have to deal with this. I don't have to deal with police beat and politics. And I'm just... Everyone loves sports. You're going to have fun. It was... So yes, in retrospect, sure. That would have been a good decision 30 years ago. Thanks for the advice now.
All right, so everybody wants to listen to you about national politics, but we're going to start local here. And you're telling me as you come in that the significance of the vandalism now, second time around, mind you, at 1020 Collective, at 1020 Holland, is kind of a moment in time to everybody needs to be aware of what's going on right now.
Yeah, you brought this up. You guys talked about in hour number one, and I thought was a pretty good conversation, and hearing what listeners had to say and callers had to say as well. And I didn't think much of the story when you first see it. Okay, you had a window out downtown somewhere. I mean, this stuff happens, whatever. It's another act of vandalism. You know, I guess not living in the city, maybe I don't realize it. But the 1020 Collective, I know I don't run in that community. I don't know it well, but the mayor, did she not either have a fundraiser or her election night was there, right? Or both?
It may have been, yeah. I know that Senator Casey was there. I mean, they've had multiple, especially on the Democratic side, multiple events there.
Yeah. I don't know the owners. I know that Daria Devlin had an event or events there. Mm-hmm. I know it. It recollects that it happened, and it was a political event. So there's probably some sort of tie. I hadn't heard of the place until then, to be honest. That's just me. I'm sure others had. For them to come out with this statement, you read part of the statement, and I hadn't seen the story. So I then went and read the entire story, probably on one of the TV sites, I think.
Right.
Or Go Erie, either one, maybe both. But so I read the story. I got deeper into the comments of the ownership. To me, those statements are very pointed, and they were for the eyes of one person only, and that's Daria Devlin.
Wow.
That's my opinion. Mm-hmm. They called out City Hall and others, right? But if you believe crime is an issue, vandalism and crime is an issue, right? You're going directly to City Hall. You're probably not going to the police chief yourself. You're going to the politicians. And I think it was a shot across the bow to City Hall, and particularly the mayor said, hey, we were here for you. You need to do something here, and we have an issue downtown. And they said it's not only our business, it's a lot of businesses. All right, now you're down here, right? You're at 5th and State,
yep.
Right? So, I mean, you're down here during the day, whatnot, but you're among those businesses. I think back to the Floyd riots and the issue here in the city. You had a criminal throw a Molotov cocktail through the window of Ember and Forge, try and burn the place down. And an owner at the time who said, hey, it's okay, right? Went in court or said, I don't really want to press charges.
Right.
Ultimately, something happened. I think that there's an issue in the city. And I think when a supporter of the mayor newly elected says, hey, City Hall, you got to deal with something, that I think the city's got a problem. And I think that the last administration, I think there's been an overarching opinion where we all want to treat people with respect, right? We want to lift everybody up as best we can, but you can be both compassionate to the people who need it and tough on crime to the criminals. Mm-hmm. And I think that I'm not sure that's happened. I'm not sure we've made that distinction. And I think this story from the owners of 1020 Collective are saying to City Hall, you need to differentiate between the people who truly are needy and the juvenile delinquents and the criminals and the punks. I think that's what's happened here.
The quote is, what we are seeing is an increase in violent and unhealthy, unhappy, and aggressive behavior surrounding our space. And then later on they say, our city is hurting and there are signs. What else can we do to avoid hurting each other? How can we heal our city so no one has the desire to smash windows of small businesses and instead uplifts them? So again, they're
compassionate.
Coming out with compassion.
That's compassionate. But if you look at other quotes there, it was, hey, City Hall and others, you get your act together too. I'm obviously paraphrasing. Yeah. But that was in there. It was a fairly lengthy story. And again, depending on which story you saw, I think they're trying to do both. And I get that they're trying to do both. But I'm not sure we've been very good in this city of differentiating between the truly needy and the criminals, Joel. And
Wow.
I think part of that is this story. And I can't put words in their mouth. I'm just trying to interpret based on it. It is clearly significant that a business that has supported this mayor has come out and said, man, we got a problem and somebody better do something about it.
Let's get a phone call in here. Go ahead and weigh in on this, caller.
Yeah, I have to disagree with Dino. I don't see anything political about any of this. If you look really closely, you can see the flower pot had been knocked over and busted out the window. Someone probably was walking down the street drunk and kicked it and busted the window. But that's just my opinion. That's just one opinion. But I'll tell you, Joel, you want to talk about crime, and we don't have it just downtown. Last Saturday morning, we had a takeover of the Shell station on Parade Street, 6th Street.
Yeah.
This Saturday night, we had a shooting at a place called Good Times on East 8th Street, which was holding some type of prom, gig. And by the way, BYOB too. You can bring your own bottle to that place. And there was a shooting inside the bar. I call it a bar because if you can take liquor in there, it's a bar.
Right.
What was kids doing under 21 in there? Some kid had to kick the front window out to escape the gunshots.
Oh, my
There's
goodness.
video of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's video of it. But, I mean, this is the type of stuff and it's only May. I mean, we're only in May, so it's going to be a long, hot summer. Things are just steaming up. But, downtown, that place had a wedding the night before. Maybe someone in there got a little drunk and got thrown out and was mad and kicked that flower. But I think the flower pot is what broke that window. It wasn't like someone picked up something and threw it to a window. It's the broken window on the bottom. It's right there by the flower pot.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's
but
common sense to me.
But the owners have
appreciate
said that they're not the only ones experiencing this. It's not some isolated incident where somebody walked by and decided, I'm going to do this.
I understand that, and they're exactly right. But like you said, look at the lady at Amber and Forge. She didn't want to file no charges. Someone tried to burn her business down. This is how Democrats run. She holds Democrat events there. I don't see Republicans trying to harm her business because the mayor had a couple events there. So that's just my opinion. I'm just one person.
All right, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it. It's concerning, and what Bill was talking about, basically serving kids after prom. That's crazy.
Yeah,
I heard about that too.
I did not, and I don't think this issue is political, and I don't think they were making that case. I think we're dealing with criminal activity, and it needs to be dealt with. I think they need to let the police do their job. I think the underlying message in that was, hey, we need to be tougher on criminals, on actual criminals, not the needy. I want to distinguish that.
Sure.
They're very different things.
But if you're shooting up in their parking lot, and they're encountering needles, that's a very scary scenario.
You can't have a successful private business or public business with that stuff going on. And they pointed that out, right?
Yeah,
I think they were making their case. You can't have that stuff. You can't. You got to let the police be able to do their job at some point. You cannot handcuff them. No pun intended. They have to be able to handle criminal behavior, and they have to have the backing of the leadership to do it.
What's the shame on all this, though, is that it just reinforces, again, to somebody living in Harbor Creek or somebody living in Fairview. Why would I want to go down there?
That's the problem.
I'm going to go out to my favorite haunt in Girard or in Fairview or in Harbor Creek or Northeast instead of coming downtown and building toward the quality of life here, where there's a lot of opportunities. But I asked the police chief when he was sitting in your chair, I said, tell our suburban neighbors that Erie is a safe town. He said, yes, it is, but you will encounter street people. Yeah, but street people, they better not harm me. They better not attack me.
Is it, hey, what do you got? It's like, can you walk safely? Can I walk 2 blocks safely? I had somebody just get back from New York City who said to me, I felt safer in Times Square than I do in the city of here, in Perry Square.
Me?
That was there. Now, it's one person's opinion.
Yeah.
Right? But it shouldn't, you would think that would never happen. But I think it is happening. And I think this story shows that. I think we need to take what they said seriously. This isn't somebody. This isn't somebody with a political axe to grind. Yeah. This is somebody who just supported the person who runs essentially the police department.
This is a person
saying,
of goodwill.
Exactly. That you just supported. Saying, hey, this isn't working, man. And doing it publicly, not getting on the phone and going, hey, can you? It was a lengthy public statement, and said we're not the only ones. We're speaking for a lot of other businesses too. It's a problem, I think, that needs to be addressed. We'll see if it's addressed in City Hall. I don't know how they can possibly ignore this.
Yeah, again, you hear people needing to move people out of their doorways in order to get to work in the morning. I mean, just...
Nobody's coming downtown for that. I get news for you. They're not. And you may say that the people in the suburbs or anybody who comes down here aren't compassionate. They're very compassionate people. They're not coming downtown for that. And we need a vibrant downtown for the rest of the suburbs to thrive. We need that. It's not like people from the suburbs don't want to come down. I think there's an element of not feeling safe. I've worked Seawolves and Otters games for forever, right? And I get the sense, certainly because I think it's summer, Seawolves games for sure, that people are like, man, I had to park down at 7th and Holland, and can you walk me down there? Like, that shouldn't happen. That should never happen, right? It's different. The Otters games are a little different, I think. It's usually below zero, for goodness sakes. And hockey fans are pretty tough anyways, you know what I mean? But you can't have that. And I think that's a shot across the bow, that this has to be addressed, because nobody's coming to the 1020 Collective or anywhere else if they don't feel safe. And I think they sent that message to City Hall yesterday and today.
That's an interesting observation there, Dino. We got to take our first break. It's Talk Erie with our Monday political breakdown here with our political guru, Dean Pepicello. All right, I think we got people rounded up, riled up there. I saw a statistic that basically Josh Shapiro's like $3 million in his war chest, and Stacey Garrity is under 300,000. I mean, that's a tough race right there.
And only leads by 20 points, right?
Does he lead by 20?
Is that what I saw in the latest?
Yeah, maybe.
That'll tighten.
Look it up.
Man, you jumped right to state politics. Holy cow, you jumped right to state politics.
Yeah, well, I'm making my way up.
Keep my heart under control, will you? You got to ease into that stuff, Natalie.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I forgot I was dealing with sensitive people here. I mean, let's take a look if a real clear politics and see if they have some polling here. Again, I'm not sure anything is worth it until Labor Day, right? But
well, you're a week away from the primary, by the way.
Right.
So it's worth something.
What's it going to matter? There's no disputed races anywhere in Pennsylvania. I mean, we've got like 2 Republican lieutenant governors. That's basically it,
And committee people.
Yeah.
But they're still going to the polls. There've been almost 1 million mail-in ballots requested in Pennsylvania. By the way, the numbers are 574 for Democrats, 214 for Republicans. Not a big deal because it's a primary.
Right.
But if those types of numbers hold in the general, that will be a huge boon for the Democrats. Republicans had closed the mail-in gap in the presidential election. So will they continue to do that? If they do, it probably keeps them close and competitive in races. And if they don't, then I think in competitive areas they'll have trouble.
The last poll was by Susquehanna over a month ago, about 6 weeks ago, and it was Shapiro 58, Garrity 36.
Yeah.
So plus 22.
22.
That actually, that may be Garrity's floor, and all she has to do is move up some.
Oh, no doubt. Susquehanna's good, by the way. I like him. He does, and I've talked to him before.
The question is whether, she's already gotten on TV and is starting to try to wear him down a little bit on his negatives.
It's going to happen because Pennsylvania's purple. I mean, it's going to happen. She's not a complete unknown. She has a great track record. She's won office at the state level. I think it's a little bit alarming that she's having trouble raising money, because Josh Shapiro can be a polarizing figure. It's again a purple state that Trump won 2 years ago, right? There's a lot of reasons why you would think maybe she just doesn't have the best fundraising ability or fundraising arm. Maybe people are waiting until after the primary,
right?
Maybe the people thought Doug Mastriano was going to get in really, and who maybe who knows? But it's impossible to beat Josh Shapiro without money. It just is. Like you can't cover this state on foot.
So Shapiro is already targeting 4 congressional seats. They think that this is the real thing, and we're going to talk about the whole congressional map. They see Pennsylvania as being ripe with flips.
Sure.
There's like 4 seats that could go
without a redistricting.
From the Republicans to the Democrats
without a redistricting. Yeah.
Yes.
Fitzgerald. There are others. I don't really see it that way. Maybe one. I don't think the Democrats should be as optimistic as they are. They're going to be close races no matter what. I'm not sure their candidates are all that strong. Janelle Stenson was the TV personality, lost before. They've got a county commissioner down there who's done pretty well. I just think they're very different jobs than Congress.
Now, there is somebody running unopposed in the spring primary for the Democrats in PA 16, an heir to going after Mike Kelly. The question is, can a Mercer County Democrat, activate Erie County Democrats? Again, the true test was years ago with Ronnie DiNicola, and again, if he couldn't do it, I'm not sure anybody can, because you have to get Erie County and bring all those Democrats down with you downstate where it's super red.
Yeah, the Cook Political Report recently said, redistricting has changed all of these competitive races, and the number's down to 12 or 16.
Yeah, there's barely any left.
There aren't any left. Do you think PA 16 is in that group? No, it's not in that group. No one thinks that's a toss-up, or it is in the clearly red column. That's the way it's going to be. And until it's redistrict, that's what it's going to be.
Let's sneak this call in. I'm up against the bottom of the hour. Go ahead.
Sorry, Joel, real quick. Doug Mastriano was just put in an ambassador at some other country by Donald Trump like a half hour ago. So he's finished in PA Senate, and his write-in campaign's finished.
Okay.
So
he's leaving a Senate seat?
Yeah, it sounds like it. He's going to be an ambassador.
An ambassador job from the orange guy. All right.
Okay, thanks, man. Bye.
What?
We'll have to look that one up.
Instead of
in the
being
break.
the most influential Republican senator in Pennsylvania, he's going to take an obscure
Wasn't Kim Ward the
ambassadorship.
pro temp? Or
Yeah, but Doug Mastrianos,
yeah. Well, he's very powerful.
I would argue, post-COVID, he still has an incredible following. He's in a very safe district, so
Sure.
that's why they probably felt they could do it. That another
Right.
Republican will win that seat, but he's going to take some obscure ambassadorship over. I don't know. He's maybe
Right.
he's an odd guy. Maybe he
Amazing.
feels I'm never going to be governor, so I'll take this. Then what's he do in 2 years? Hope J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio keeps him on?
he's had an illustrious career
True.
as a veteran and so on.
Yeah, I like
He's
him. I
done,
mean,
you
he
know.
was.
I liked him until he wouldn't talk to me.
Oh, he wouldn't.
No, I'm like you know what Rush used to say, a lovable little fuzzball.
Who wouldn't
And I
talk to
could,
you?
and he wouldn't talk to me. You know, back in 22.
You talk to anybody in talk radio?
And no,
wonder.
well,
It wasn't-
he might have talked to like Hannity or somebody like
Right.
that. You know.
Yeah, I think he was averse to maybe some of those things. Just
Yeah.
didn't like. I don't get. Answer any question. Say what you want about Donald Trump. He'll answer any question. Doesn't
Right.
matter, right? He'd come on here all day.
I mean,
if it made
I
sense.
honestly think that there's probably a 1% chance, that President Trump will be on our station before he leaves office, because he's that kind of. What was he on? He was on some kind of Full Measure podcast, syndicated TV show. Never heard of it.
Yeah, but they're trying to reach an audience that they felt they had never reached before.
What was that? I don't even know what that is.
It's like he went on it was the Nelk Boys or whatever. Those guys.
Oh yeah,
Right?
the podcasters,
Right,
yeah.
right.
That's his son.
Oh yeah, talked him into it.
Yeah, talked
but that
him
was
into it, yeah.
huge. Like they were reaching, like young people, especially young males, put Donald Trump over the top in the last election. Let's be honest. That's what happened.
So 1% for Donald Trump.
All right.
I think it's a 50-50 chance that we'll get Vice President J.D. Vance.
We're going to be right back in the spotlight
on
right
this
after this election in November. We're going to be right back in the spotlight for 28, which means you guys are in the spotlight, which is the way it should be.
There's
Joel and
I
Shaney
appreciate that.
going nationwide. The Selena Zitos, and
Celine. Oh wow.
the Mark Cubans,
Yeah.
they'll all be back, man. It'll be great.
Hey Joel, it's Mark Cuban. One of the craziest conversations in my life, in my career. All right, Dino's with us here. We got our news break at the bottom. We will be talking the reconfiguration and all that coming up. Mondays with Dean are just too much fun. Dean Pepicello, our political guru, is with us here on the Joel Natale Show, live from our Kingdom Financial Group studio, also live on YouTube and Facebook. Okay, we got to talk national politics here.
Wait,
First
can we
up,
thank Ed Kissel?
Oh, we love Ed.
And the Sons of Lake Erie, love that
100%.
guy. We worked together on coastal zone management. We've been together for years, and a lot of good money has been spent on coastal projects in this community, which has been awesome. I love that man. So of course, he drops off a car. Heard him in the
I love this. Heard you were in for repairs.
I won't say what he wrote in the card because I think it would violate HIPAA.
Yeah, and FCC rules. Yeah,
but,
there you go.
But he made me feel better.
Nice.
Oh, he's a sweet man. Love you, dude. Thank you.
Awesome.
Anyways, what?
All right. What are we talking about? Obviously, can I say a macro statement would be, I don't like midterm reconfiguration of the districts. You're supposed to do this after you get the results from the census. So this is all kinds of tomfoolery. Now, has it been done in the past? Absolutely. Who started it? The Republicans in Texas. But it's, after the fact of, it happens in Illinois. And Massachusetts is so gerrymandered that actually I think all of New England is gerrymandered to the point that there's no Republicans representing people, millions of people in New England.
Right. So it's not the Republicans' fault by starting this in Texas. Yeah. I get they started this
round.
Fire, but yes, you just pointed out California, Illinois, all of New England. Are there no Republicans in all of New England?
I thought there was all kinds of Republicans in New Hampshire.
There are.
Yeah.
There are, exactly. Yeah. So it's not. So I get it. Yeah, you don't like it. I guess I don't either. Here's why. Now this will be the thing.
Yeah.
We'll be doing it all the time. All the time. So
it's a disservice to the voters of knowing who's representing you in Congress.
Yes. The other argument is to the winners go the spoils. And look at the county by county map of election results in this country. It is red like crazy, right? Yep. So maybe this is the right thing to do. Maybe redistricting is a better representation of the voters in this country. I'm making the hypothetical argument. Here's what will happen. You will have less competitive races, number one. So almost all these races now, you're talking about flipping the House only because it's so close, but are essentially decided at this point, except for a handful. The other thing that's going on, you are pushing people to the fringes because you're taking all the conservative voters in one place, right, and all the liberal voters. Now you force candidates to be extreme because they still have to win a primary.
Sure.
So you take away the ability to compromise. Maybe that's a good thing for some people. I don't think it's what the founders envisioned, to be honest. But this is the reality. We have talked here about how Democrats nationally have a problem because their party is pushing them to the left. Look at what happened in Indiana recently.
Yep.
All of the Trump-endorsed candidates, almost all of them won. Many of them very different from moderate candidates, all because they refused to redistrict, by the way. So now you're making parties, you're making them more extreme. Mm-hmm. That's what's going on. So that's going to change. So now the swings in Congress will be massive. There will be no reason to compromise. Here's why, because you can't win an election anyways, because you'll never win a primary if you go with redrawn districts that are more extreme. That's what you're seeing. I would rather see, to me, redistricting is not that hard. It's not that hard. The three of us could sit down with a map of the United States right now,
right,
and like 3-year-olds with our crayons, draw districts that had equal populations that represented the common interest of people in that area. It is not that hard. So they're making it political, but everyone wants to make sure they win. To me, draw the districts the way they're supposed to and let the chips fall where they may. Have better ideas and better candidates, and I think the country probably would be in a better place. I'm not afraid of that. Right? As a conservative, I'm not afraid. Put me in a race, in a competitive district with a competitive candidate, because I think my idea is win. But we're getting further and further away from that. I don't see how we go back now that we're in this. Almost every state now that can redistrict is doing it. It's going to change the country.
I don't think we can go back now. You could say that about a lot of things about our current political moment. I think there are norms that we lived with for decades in the post-war configuration that we will never go back to. We're never going to have a George H.W. Bush again, you know.
In what way?
I mean, he was pretty much of a kinder conservative. You know, he talked about the kinder, gentler country. You know, he was responding to Ronald Reagan, who he thought was too aggressive or too mean or whatever.
Will you have another Bill Clinton?
I don't think so. I think Bill Clinton was a pragmatist, and I always think fondly about that combination of Clinton and the contract with America, because we actually balanced the budget.
Prosperous times.
We had very prosperous times. Yes.
So we may be a long time before we see another president. Like, a lot of people didn't like him, right? Whatever.
Right.
You have to win a primary now. You can't win the general without winning the primary. And how do you win a national primary without appealing to a gerrymandered base on either side?
Here's the other thing. And again, I'll my previous statements will be contradictory, but they're also closing primaries while they're doing this redistricting. Because the idea of an open primary kind of nulls out this redistricting thing to a great degree.
I guess, could you say gerrymandering favors Republicans because landmass favors conservatives?
I don't know. I mean,
if you take Los Angeles, Boston, Chicago, right?
Yeah.
You take those cities out, the country's incredibly... The Electoral College would be
very red.
Exactly. So you would think, in theory, not just population, but landmass, I guess. I wonder how all that plays. I think there's a lot of questions still.
The war looks like we're getting closer to having another hot phase again. Again, it never. The ceasefire was tenuous to begin with, but Trump is saying that the ceasefire is on, hanging on life support there. What? I still don't think that the president has the stomach for more bombing. Would you disagree?
I don't know. It's easy to Monday morning quarterback. I think we have another president who is involved in a Middle East quagmire. And it's not nearly as bad as others. I think he understood that ground troops cannot happen.
Right.
But here we are again. An American president thinks that this is something that had to be done, and maybe it did. We don't have the intelligence, right? We're not there. Maybe they were close on a nuke. One nuke will ruin your entire day. I say it here every week. I get it. But I don't know if we've seen evidence of that yet. What is Iraq? What is Iran's motive to settle? They're thumbing their nose at these deals. He continues to threaten like Chicken Little. I get it. He's done it once. I guess we could do it again. At $1 billion a day, what has happened? I'm not saying I'm against this yet. I'm saying the jury is still out. I've said it every week. Where are we at? The people have not risen up and taken over the government. He asked for that. Maybe they don't have nukes. We don't know that, I guess. There isn't Middle East peace. Where are we?
Well, and I think we're in a worse spot because I think the great unknown, or if they factored this in, they put it to a lesser priority, is the concept of Iran bombing its own allies like the United Arab Emirates and Oman and Bahrain and Saudis. And I mean, Iran has become this major pariah in the region, but they've always been a pariah in the region. But there was always this détente that the oil states were able to produce and export their oil, and Iran let them go. And now instead of, Iran's really not even firing at Israel at all.
Right.
They're firing at the UAE.
Sure.
Which, again, the UAE has built this multifaceted, tech-based and airline-based economy. They're super advanced, and now they're getting beat up. I've heard somebody say that if we're going to bomb now, we should take out the Karg Island and just take down all of their refining capabilities.
I would assume, but absent that, what do they have to lose at this point?
They have nothing to lose.
Exactly. Okay, we kill a bunch of people and the next people come up. Like nothing essentially has changed at this point. Let's assume the Middle East is safer because they're not close to a nuke. Okay, awesome. Right? Then say mission accomplished and pull out. And I think that's what happens, by the way. If I'm predicting it, I think soon Trump goes, you know what? We accomplished this. We're out of here. People may or may not believe it. They don't know if the price is worth it or not. But at the end of the day, the Iranians know his popularity right now is below 40%. There is a midterm coming. They're likely to lose the House. That happens. They can't send in ground troops, right? So that there's no way that will not play with the American public. Where is the incentive for the Iranians to cut a deal? There is none. None. I don't think you have to be a genius to know that.
Here's the sad thing. And I encourage you to listen to one of the latest This American Life from NPR. They did a whole show last week with voices from Iran. Somehow they got them through voice memos or other means, because there's a whole internet blackout. And nearly everyone except maybe one or two of these voices from Iran were saying, please don't let up on the regime. We need the regime to go. We will not. We can't survive with the regime any longer.
I understand.
It's done.
Yep.
They killed tens of thousands of our people in January.
Yep. Still on.
And when they heard that Trump was talking about ceasefire and compromise, and they were going ballistic because they need so much pressure to be put on the regime that they would fold.
I understand.
But they're not going to rise up because they don't have any guns.
Exactly. That's the thing. And they didn't see it. And you can't do it from the air. The only way to do it was with ground troops. And he can't politically do that. And the Iranians, the government, knows it. So I get it. I listen, the mission is noble. It's noble, but I think it's ill-founded, and I don't think it's played out. I think he thought the Iranian people would be able to rise up, and they can't. They're hanging people in the street as we speak.
Right.
It's still going on. Most people are going to hide in their homes. Go, yep, hey, I'm with you. All good. Absolutely. Give me Khomeini, whatever. It's impossible, I think, without ground troops. I don't see how it happens. Now, you could have another massive, like you said, an incredible bombing campaign. I don't even know if that does the trick. I don't know. I don't see how anybody can come to any other conclusion at this point.
That he just pulls out.
I think
he calls victory and pulls out.
He has to. And by the way, gas is $5 a gallon.
Right.
And you can make all the excuses you want. And I know he said, hey, it's worth it, and it'll come right back down. People don't give a crap about the excuses. He ran on lowering gas prices, and he was on his way.
Yep.
And he made this decision for whatever reason. And maybe it's incredibly noble. It probably is. It is backfiring. He's in trouble at home, and I don't see any. I think they have to pull out and say
where do you
victory.
think he's going to China in a couple days? Do you think China could force Iran to accept some kind of a compromise here that opens the strait?
Why? Why would?
Because they need the oil.
Oh yes, for China, but why would Iran do it? Where is their incentive to settle?
Because their economy is totally gone off a cliff, and if they can't sell oil anymore, which that's where they're at right now. I mean, it is. They are getting pushed to the brink, but they are. What did Marco call them? A lunatic, apocalyptic.
Yeah. Whose press conference Friday was incredible. Marco Rubio's. Did you see it?
Yes.
He's told you.
What,
did I tell you months ago?
Everybody's going crazy.
Did I tell you who the Republican nominee was going to be in 28? I told you months ago.
Wow.
That's why you bring me on here. I could be wrong 100 times in a row, but I get one thing right, and I'm going to crow about it. I just think Iran clearly is not going to back down at this point. You don't have to be a genius to figure this out. What is their motive to strike a deal? Wouldn't they have already struck the deal?
I predict. Well, here's my prediction. Marco will be done December 31st.
In order to run.
because secretaries of state don't last that long.
Does Vance run then?
I think Vance runs. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so there is a primary.
I think there's a primary.
And one of them chooses Ron DeSantis as a VP, or does he run too?
No, I think Ron runs. Might be
Ron runs too?
Yeah, I think there's a couple flavors.
Rubio
Yeah.
wins that all day. Three-way race. Rubio would love to have DeSantis in that race.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, that would benefit him, I think.
You're probably right.
Going to shape up soon.
Yeah. We got to go. Thank
Already?
you, sir.
Thanks, guys.
It's crazy, but yeah, out of time. Thanks, Gino.
You bet.